Hi, my name is Dr. Debbie Wake. I am a consultant diabetologist by background and clinical academic. I'm also CEO and co-founder of My Way Digital Health, which is a company we spun out of Dundee University about 7 years ago. So at My Way Digital Health, we have a number of linked products, but they're grouped by being systems that are data-driven and help support chronic disease management. So we're looking at end-to-end solutions that do everything from online patient education through to NHS data access, remote monitoring, support for clinicians to help them better manage conditions, right through to population-level analytics where we can find high-risk populations and tailor them into specific interventions. Our front-leading product is something called My Way Diabetes, which is an app for people with diabetes. It gives them access to their NHS record and gives them data which is contextualised for them and gives them highly personalised, tailored advice. They can also link in remote monitoring, things like Fitbits and glucose meters from home, and it will give them automated advice, link them through to educational courses and materials that are hopefully useful in their sort of day-to-day management.
So we've had My Way Diabetes in Somerset for a period of time now, and I'm seeing more and more patients who are using it and finding it extremely useful.
So my consultant told me about My Way Diabetes. I've worked in technology all my life. It doesn't particularly hold a fear for me, and I was very interested to see what it brought to the table for diabetics that have been diabetic for a while. I was very keen to see my HbA1c over the years, and I used to write it down on a bit of paper and lose it, and I'd set up a spreadsheet and forget where I'd put it. So the idea of having something on a phone that you could just look at, I thought, terrific moving forward.
Because of the explanation that's on there as to what these numbers actually mean, they can do this in an informed way, and when they do access healthcare professionals, the conversation is much more useful to both parties.
All the data that matters as a diabetic, you can go there and you can see it.
So one click and it brings up my profile, and the first thing that you see are your results. You can click on the results tab and it'll tell you where you're at. Previous to me using that app, I had no idea.
So although My Way Digital Health is only about 7 years old, our story started about 20 years ago, where with my NHS role, I was involved in supporting the development of what was the National Diabetes Platform in Scotland. And the idea was to try to link up every data point across the NHS in Scotland for people with diabetes into one single platform. That proved to be really successful and actually was quite transformative in terms of how we delivered diabetes and then other long-term condition care across Scotland. It was receiving a lot of publicity, lots of publications, to the point we were getting approached from outside Scotland saying, can we do something similar? We didn't really have a vehicle to do that, so we approached the University of Dundee, which is where most of the development work had happened, to say, what do you think about us spinning out a company to try and take this innovation elsewhere? And after a bit of time, we eventually persuaded them to happen. So 7.5 years ago, My Way Digital Health was formed. And since then, we've been deploying similar innovations, which we've now, of course, expanded into other chronic diseases. And we're now doing much more around AI and predictive analytics and things. But we're running services both nationally in NHS England and regionally in NHS England, and now doing some international work as well. In terms of impact, we're now deploying services across the UK, where we're integrating data from about 1.5 million people with diabetes and other chronic diseases. We have almost 200,000 people who have registered to access our data app, and we've got over 1 million people who've made use of online resources. We've also proven that impact through a number of high-profile publications where we've been able to show significant impact on things like blood sugar levels, weight, blood pressure, cholesterol, and long-term complications, and a significant cost savings. So we're able to show about a 5-to-1 return on investment. So for every £1 you spend using our intervention, and it only costs about £1 per patient per year, it's an extremely cheap intervention at population level. For me, joining the Clinical Entrepreneurship Programme was really important because it's all about finding your tribe, really. And I think we've been part of many innovation programmes. What's different about this is, you know, as a clinician trying to be an entrepreneur, that's a very unique thing to do, and there's specific challenges that you have as a clinician. What this programme does is it puts you in connection with other people who are basically going through exactly the same problems and challenges that you might be going through, but it also links you in with really important high-profile people within the NHS. One of my highlights from the programme was when we got the opportunity to present at the Royal Institute. in front of the NHS CEO, Amanda Pritchard. And again, those sorts of opportunities you just wouldn't get anywhere else. And also things like we did sort of Belbin profiles and things where actually that really helps you understand yourself better, helping us understand investment better, helping us develop our business plan. The CEP programme will lay out all these opportunities for you, but you've got to get out and grab them and make use of them. And that's how you'll benefit from the programme.